Hey guys, Toy Bro here for another SH Figuarts review. We've got the First Order Executioner on deck today, and I'm also going to throw this little guy in the mix. We've got 2BB-2, so you got him if you bought the Guard and the First Order Executioner as a set. They come in different packages, but they are a set, so he's just the bonus. Standard box for this guy, nothing too crazy. He's got the window, so it's a non-exclusive release. All of his accessories in there. We got the kind of artwork on the side. We got a shot of the Executioner on the other side, and then the back has just some product shots in action with some kanji, some Japanese text down there. So let's pull them out and take a look. All right, guys, so here is our First Order Executioner and 2BB-2 out of the box. We're going to talk about the droid first real quick because honestly there's not a great deal to talk about, and then we'll get into this trooper. So this guy is just a hollow ball of plastic with a little head that sits on top of a double ball peg, so it has a little bit of movement. It can pretty much kind of bob back and forth and spin around, and that's about it. This guy, I have no idea which droid this is. I'm not sure. I don't really care. This guy came with the kind of the bonus of buying the Executioner and the Guard, the Praetorian Guard together. So you get one of these, just like BB-9E came with Phasma and the First Order Officer last month. So he sits in this little dish. There's no weight or anything inside of him like the Black Series BB, the BB-8. If you put him down, he's just going to fall right over. So you got to keep him in here, and he'll just sort of sit there forever. And that's pretty much all there is to him. He's mostly this kind of teal blue color with some shading all over him, just kind of like some airbrush effects to him. The head has some decent sculpt to it, but it's pretty much just a hunk of plastic. So if you don't care about these, there's really no reason to try to get them, but they will hopefully look cool in my case. All right, now as far as the trooper himself goes, this is pretty much just a First Order trooper in the Episode 8 style with some slight paint differences. And of course, he's got a different role, different accessory. But we'll go over the differences between this and a regular First Order trooper later on. And we'll also compare to the Black Series Executioner. As far as articulation on this guy goes, it's pretty standard Figuarts stuff. You're not going to be surprised or disappointed, really. Head can go all the way around. We've got ball joint, and then the neck is articulated as well. Arms can go all the way out. The shoulder pads are articulated, so you can raise them up. We can spin all the way around. We've got rotation at the bicep. We've got rotation at the wrist, at the elbow, and then we've got that double joint, so you can get more than 90. Ball peg at the wrist. We've got upper diaphragm, so you can move them all the way around. Big crunch forward and backward. We got waist rotation and crunch. Legs can go pretty much all the way out. There is no drop-down joint here. We've got rotation at the thigh, double joint at the knee, and then there is a rocker, a bit of a hinge, so the armor is always going to get in the way, rotation, and then there is a joint for the toes. Now, as far as the sculpt itself goes, if you've seen one First Order trooper, you've pretty much seen them all at this point, so there's not much detail worth going into here. We've seen it all before. It's a solid looking sculpt. I like the design. I'm a big fan of it. The big thing for this guy is his paint scheme and just the overall differences he has between this, the Executioner model and the regular. So the big thing is obviously the black coloring. He's got the black on the shoulders and the chest, and he's got the black stripe on the helmet. There is a slight difference in the mask, in the helmet for Episode 8 versus Episode 7. The mouth is slightly more angular and a bit more narrow in places, but for the most part, it's the same old for the trooper. He does have the little pistol. It's just pegs into his leg. Pegs are really tight, and he comes like this out of the box. So, if you've seen one First Order trooper, you've pretty much seen them all. Even though this guy is the Executioner, he's still the same general build. All right, now let's talk accessories real quick. It's a Figuarts, so we've got obviously a selection of hands. Out of the box, he comes with just the two closed fist hands here. Nothing too special, nothing too crazy. Most people probably aren't going to use those. What he does come with in addition is pretty standard for a First Order Trooper. We have got the gripping style hands, a full set of those. We have got a set of trigger finger hands, so he can be a lefty or a righty, and then he has a set of open palm gripping hands to allow him to hold the stock of the gun. So this guy is the First Order Executioner. He obviously comes with the staff, sickle, scythe, whatever it's going to be called. I don't think it has an official name just yet, but it looks a lot like a scythe or something executioner-like. We've kind of learned from different figures, from different promo pics, that this thing is collapsible, and obviously it's shown that way here. It has kind of like teeth on it, and the best thing that we can tell so far is that there is kind of an electricity element to it. This figure comes with just one staff, and it has replaceable parts, so you can pop the end off, and then you can put the other open style end on it, so he's ready to chop off a head or whatever he's supposed to do, but probably not going to do in the movie. I am 100% a fan of this particular weapon. I think it's really cool. It's very menacing, looks very dark and evil, and this particular iteration of it from Figuarts, from Bandai, is detailed quite well. There's a lot of paint on it. There is a lot of sculpt work on it, tons of line work, tons of little details, and I just think it looks really, really cool. We will talk briefly about the differences between this one and the Black Series here shortly. He does come with a couple other accessories that are standard to First Order Troopers. So one that we've already talked about briefly is he comes with the pistol here that's on his leg, and it's the one that's kind of for show. So he's got it pegged in there, and it actually has pegs in it. He has another one that if you were to unpeg this one, you could give him one to hold in his hand, and it's just the same thing that we've seen on tons of other figures at this point. And then he has the First Order blaster rifle as well, and it's got the kind of hinged stock on it with the holster and the handle. And I'm probably never going to use this with him, but it's nice to know that they gave him all of the requisite weapons that the Trooper has. But let's be honest, this thing right here is the way to go for this guy. All right, now for comparison's sake, here is the Executioner in the middle with the First Order Officer that I reviewed a month or so ago. So he's the Episode 8 version. He's got the same style helmet and the mouth lines. This is the Episode 7 Trooper, so 788 here. And you can see the mouth is a different thickness for the lines, but for the most part, the figure is still basically the same thing. It's just different aesthetics there, and then of course the paint difference from this guy to this guy, and this guy. All right, now the big difference for me is between this guy and the Black Series. So there's a lot of things here that I really didn't pick up on when I first reviewed this guy, and one thing I didn't notice when I was looking at him previously. So we've got. I've already got his staff in his hand, so I didn't feel like taking it out. But the figures themselves are generally pretty similar aesthetics-wise. One thing that I mentioned in the review for the Black Series is that he doesn't come with a pistol, which was just it doesn't matter to me, but it also bothered me at the same time because he has the peg for it, but he didn't include it. This guy does have it. One thing that I'm sure is probably not coming through on the video too well is the whites on these figures are drastically different. And now that I have them both under the same kind of lighting, the whites on this guy are far whiter and I guess more consistent than this one. This guy, he almost has a weird hue about him when I've got him under these lights. So there's just a stark difference. Again, if it doesn't pass through the video, I apologize. But I can definitely tell a difference between just the coloration on these two right off the bat. One thing that I didn't notice when I reviewed this guy initially is the chest lines here and here next to the shoulders are supposed to be black apparently. I checked some other reference photos like the Sideshow and like Hot Toys stuff. They are black as well, so that should have been painted and it's not. This guy is. I'm not sure why. That's a weird thing to miss. But talking of misses, this guy has the First Order logo on his shoulders. The Figuarts does not. I didn't realize that when I was first looking at it. He does not have the logo on either shoulder. And as far as I can tell, he should. I went back to look at the trailer, and the trailers, there's not a whole lot of reference material in footage for these guys yet, but they definitely have the logo on their shoulders. So that's a definite miss on this figure as far as I can tell. But still in terms of overall figure, this is a clear winner. So overall, at the end of the day, all things taken into consideration on this particular figure and the droid, this is a pretty solid Figuarts. He does have some oddities about him, just in the sense that there are differing stylistic elements between this figure and other figures. So I feel like they've missed that logo on the shoulders, and I kind of wish we would have the electricity element on this weapon, because I think it would make this guy look even cooler. The BB unit is okay. I didn't pay any extra for him, so it's not like I'm out any money. But at the end of the day, it's just a little droid. He's kind of cool, but pretty much easily skippable for most folks, I would imagine. So that is going to do it for this look at 2BB-2 and the First Order Executioner from Bandai Tamashii Nations. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and until next time, everyone.